Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश्वर गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So please accept my humble obeisances. Dandavad pranams to all of you. So we are here on chapter 10 for today's session. In this journey of 18 days, 18 chapters, we will take a quick glance on chapter 9 summary and then we will proceed to chapter 10. So yesterday, before going further, as we have always mentioned that this teaching, this learning, this knowledge is directly coming through the disciplic succession. Srila Prabhupada, the ISKCON founder Acharya, has written the book named as Bhagavad Gita as it is. And as I always keep iterating, I would like to say it again that there might be fault in my presentation, there might be anything I may say wrongly, but Srila Prabhupada has presented this knowledge in absolute correctness because he has been giving this to all of us in disciplic succession. So please read out the book Bhagavad Gita as it is for detailed understanding of every single chapter which we are trying to discuss here in 1 hour every day. So we'll just take a quick glance. Chapter 9, it was our 34 shlokas were there. In shloka 1 to 3, Krishna mentioned about the knowledge which is confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. So what Krishna speaks to Arjuna and through Arjuna to all of us in chapter 2 was about the identity and being able to discriminate between body and soul. So that is called the knowledge. Minimum requirement is to get that knowledge that body and soul, matter and spirit are different. In chapter 4, 5, 6, Krishna helps Arjuna to understand, and again for clear understanding of all of us, he goes and make it more confidential. So that was the confidential knowledge. In chapter 2, chapter 4 onwards is the more confidential knowledge that once you know that matter and spirit are different, you should know how to act, what you should do. And here in chapter 9, which we try to study yesterday, it was about how to achieve me. It's really like the keyword, the code of someone's locker. So Krishna tells in chapter 9, Man mana bhav mad bhakto. If you remember the last shloka from chapter 9, Krishna tells that how you will attain me. These are the gradual steps and processes. By doing that, you will attain me. So that was 1 to 3, shloka 1 to 3 yesterday. Shloka 4 to 10, Krishna confirms Arjuna for better understanding how this material and nature is his energy, one of his energy, and this whole cosmic manifestation is under Krishna himself. So he mentions about this very clearly. Inconceivable Lord, what does it mean? What does this word signify, and how he possesses it? That has been explained. Then shloka 11 to 25, we know that it was mentioned about Jnani, Karmi, Yogi, Dhyani, bhaktas. What is the destinations of those who do or don't have faith in the Lord? Then shlokas 26 to 34 was all about the glorification of Bhakti Yoga. It was how to engage mind, senses, offer obeisances, absorb in Lord's thoughts, and doing all prescribed duties. What does it do? It brings us back to Lord. So this is how chapter 9 was arranged. Today's chapter name is the opulence of the absolute. So now once Krishna has mentioned about this confidential knowledge, Krishna did not stop. Krishna continued speaking. This is the arrangement of our acharyas to separate the chapters, to make it very clear that what is going to be discussed. Like now, right now we are classifying the shlokas to understand how many shlokas together gives this message, this particular glories of bhakti, like in chapter 9, is from 26 to 34. So similarly, acharyas have classified the chapters to make us understand that now this part of the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna actually signifies this aspect of the knowledge, entire knowledge, this aspect. So this is called the opulence, because Krishna is going to be bit uh, you know like from very zoom vision to the very narrow vision, very concentrated vision. So everywhere, okay, I'm air, ether, earth, water, fire, everything. Then he came closer. He said, not only that, even the seed which germinates and turns out into a big tree, I'm into that. Now he brings the vision even more close. So we are zooming it out, right? We are zooming it out. So it's coming in a very, very focused way. Now Krishna is saying, even among whom, what is my position? If I'm talking about humans, who am I in humans? If I'm talking about weapons, who am I in weapons? So I'm talking about animals, who is my representative? So whoever is best, basically, like a class monitor, like a school topper, state topper, national winner, international winner, there is a name, right? So that name is me. And Krishna will say, it is endless to speak out all those names, but I will try my best. So this will keep coming in this chapter of opulence of the absolute. So we have knowledge of the absolute, now we have the opulence of the absolute. And in the next chapter, which is we are going to have tomorrow, by Krishna's mercy, by the blessings of our acharyas, there Krishna will showcase all of these opulence within one single body. It's that will make assured all of us through the reading of those shlokas, that it's not like he's just saying it. Arjuna saw it in his body. One single body has a lot of universes coming out, emerging and getting annihilated. And Arjuna himself sees within that body that Krishna is speaking to me. So all that is tomorrow. But for today, it is going to be a very beautiful chapter. A lot of visuals are there, because we are talking about the personalities, vibhutis, the opulence of that absolute. So very briefly, we will see how the shlokas are classified in this chapter. Shloka 1 to 7, Krishna, because Krishna is continued from man manabhav mad bhakto. He is still explaining Arjuna. So first 7 shloka, Krishna will confirm how I am the source of everything. Then shloka 8 to 11, which is called Chatushlokya Gita, it is called the essence of Gita. There are 4 shlokas, 10.8 to 10.11. If we cannot read one chapter every day, these 4 shlokas, everybody should try to recite every day, because there are 3 concepts which gets clarified in this 4 shlokas. And if we know those 3 concepts very clearly every day in all our actions, in our existence, we will never be bewildered by this illusory energy. So those 4 shlokas we will understand from 8 to 11. From 12 to 42, we can actually classify it in the 2 parts, but we have kept it here together because it actually is linked. So 12 to 18, Arjuna will accept the position. Arjuna will say, I agree, Krishna, that you are the absolute knowledge. You are the knower of everything. And not only me, he just, like in exams, we might forget something, right? The moment we get a clue, sometimes we say, right, when question answer happens, we say, can I just have it in my mind, I just can't say it. So can you just say the first letter? Maybe I can remember. I'll just remember. I know this place name, I know this person, I just need the first letter. So this is what happened with Arjuna. After all this conversation, he says, oh, I remember now. No, now since you are telling about yourself, I can remember that Deval, Asit, Narad, Vyas, all these rishis, all these great personalities have already spoken about you. And now I can remember all that in very clear. So this is what Arjuna speaks from shloka 12 to 18. 19 onwards, in 18th shloka, he will request Krishna, I just want to know the name of those vibhutis, those opulences of your absolute, that how you are present. So Krishna will confirm to Arjuna that it's not possible to speak all opulences, but I'll try to say about 82 in very short summary, few shlokas, less than 20 shlokas, around 19 shlokas are there from 20 to 38. Yeah, 19 shlokas are there where Krishna will confirm who am I among rishis, among animals, among birds, that all we will know. Then 40, 41, 42, Krishna will conclude this conversation. So we will start with first shloka of chapter 10, which says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho shruno me paramam vacha yatte aham priyamanaya bhakshyami hit kamyaya. Supreme Personality of Godhead said. He is continuing from the last chapter. We shouldn't forget it, because now when we see the word here, listen again, I am giving you knowledge, I am giving you further knowledge. Then we shouldn't think, oh, just now in the session yesterday we came to know about three knowledge. So we came to know about the 3 degrees of verb to say for, right? The normal verb, then we say superlative, uh, good, better, best. So confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. So most confidential was yesterday. Now is what? So because Krishna is still continuing, that chapter is rhythm of the topic is continued. He said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained." And he says, Na me vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya ahamadidhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasha. Neither the host of demigod nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. So that's why when people ask that why is it, because in material world if we say I am this, I am that, I have 10 companies, I have so many degrees, I am so rich, I have so many bank balances, accounts, I have so many great connections, my network is so big, people will call it. If you are all this, you don't need to boast. Let your action speak. This is how we speak to the normal people, because as a human entity we are not supposed to have any kind of ego, any kind of sense of accomplishment, in the sense to make ourselves superior than others. It should come in a modest way. That is a different way of saying. But for Krishna, Krishna is confirming why I have to speak all this. People say, how to know about God? Why Krishna is saying about himself? This is for our own easiness. We don't need to go anywhere here and there. This is the manual where Krishna speaks about himself. And he's saying, since the host of the demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulence, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. So that's why he says, since I am the creator, I have to explain it. Otherwise, we will try to find out. We will try to we will just keep watering the leaves. We will keep watering the fruits. We will keep watering the flowers. But if we don't know where is the root, we will never be able to reach to that level. So Krishna says, that's why I am making you assured here, it is me. But it is not easy for everyone to know me. Why? Because I decide based on the qualification whom I should be known. So that Krishna is saying in Shloka 3, Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asammudha samartyeshu sarva pape pramuchyate. Krishna doesn't stop here. He says, बुद्धि ज्ञान असम्मोहम क्षमा सत्यम दम यश दम क्षमा बुद्धि ज्ञान सम्मोह क्षमा सत्यम दम क्षमा सुखम दुःखम भवो भावो भयं च भयमेव च अहिंसा समता तुष्टि तपोदानं यशो यश भवन्ति भावभूतानां मत्त एव पृथग्विदा. So Krishna says anything, whether it is intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, control of the mind, happiness, distress, birth, death, fearlessness. So bhaya, abhayam, fear as well as fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, infamy, all these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undiluted among men is freed from all sins. So what does it signify? Actually, if we see it in detail in the Srila Prabhupada's in the book written by Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita as it is, Krishna actually is confirming here, all these quite of qualities, intelligence, non-violence, fearlessness, all this comes from Krishna. And these are the personalities. Like for us, earth is just a matter, right? Earth. But for when we see from shastric injunctions, when we see in the light of acharyas guidance, Bhumi Devi, this earth is the Bhumi Devi. She has a body, and she acquires a body of cow when she goes with Brahma and all other demigods to pray to Lord Vishnu, right? Karno Dakshaya Vishnu. She speaks there that I am burdened by those who do not follow the dharma. So it means these qualities of the nature also acquires body, and then they appear as, where can we find it in the Pramar Roop, in the authoritative sense, is in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Manu and Shatrupa had two sons and three daughters, Prataprudra and Uttanpad, and three daughters, Ahuti, Devuti, and Prasuti. So Ahuti, it is said that she gave birth to Yagya. So when we say Yagya, do the penances, right? That is what? That is Yagya Dev. That is one of the form of Lord himself. Then there are the qualities, all this intelligence, Riti, Shama, Daya. There are 9 girls who are born to Devahuti before Lord Kapila take birth. So these are the personalities. Srila Prabhupada in his purport has given the definition of each of these qualities very distinctively. Intelligence means what? Intelligence means power to analyze things in their proper perspective. This is intelligence. Knowledge is different. Intelligence is different. Knowledge refers to understanding what is the difference between spirit and matter. To say, for knowledge doesn't only mean this worldly knowledge, getting the degree. That knowledge is all about the matter. Then the actual knowledge, the definition of knowledge is to be able to differentiate between spirit and matter. Similarly, intelligence is to be able to distinguish between what is right, what is wrong. That power to analyze is called the intelligence. So that's why it is said that in botany sense, everybody might have the weight of everybody's mind is probably brain is 200 gram, somewhat around 200 gram. Nobody will have 1 kg of brain in their skull, right? Nobody. We can check it scientifically. Everybody can go and get it weighed, right? It is not. It is 200 to 200, some 200 plus minus grams around for every living and for every human beings. But not everyone uses it, right? In the way. Otherwise, in a class, everybody should be the topper. Everybody doesn't get the same marks. However, the teacher who is teaching is the same. So similarly, Krishna says the intelligence is different. The brain is different. The intelligence is different. Intelligence is something which I bestow when someone showcase that kind of qualification. So I manifest myself in their heart, in their mind, and then give them the intelligence. So this is how very beautifully Srila Prabhupada has distinguished all these qualities in the purport. We can go further and read it. Asammoha word means the freedom from doubt and delusion. When Srila Prabhupada went to the Western countries and the reporters were asking him, oh, your country is not free and you are here to preach us? You are here to give us the spiritual knowledge? We feel you need more. You need to spend more time in your own country to preach your people and not to us. We are free. And then Srila Prabhupada said in great, authority, he mentioned that everybody is. Hare Krishna. Yeah, he said nobody is free. Everybody is bound by the shackles of 3 kinds of modes: that goodness, passion, ignorance, and my knowledge makes them free. It doesn't matter which country, which creed, which caste, which circumstance I present this knowledge. It is equally applicable to everyone. How you can say you are free? You are actually under the control of your senses. You all are occupied with sense gratification. The real asammoha is to get freed from that delusion, that ignorance. So the freedom from doubt and delusion is what is called asamoha. This is what Srila Prabhupada very authoritatively replied to that reporter. So these pastimes, these great personalities are called actually vibhutis. They might be considered as vibhutis because they enlighten us about these simple words which we use so casually, and they explain the great meaning out of it. Then he says satyam, truthfulness. Facts should be presented as they are, not as we think. That's why Bhagavad Gita is said, named as Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's not like many acharyas, many, not acharyas, the great personalities say there are many versions of Bhagavad Gita, but then they say, this is what I feel. In fact, very famous Hindi versions also, many shlokas, they say, this is, the writer says, this is what I feel. So this is incorrect. Truthfulness is as it is, without my own interpretation. We as human beings are always bound by four kinds of defects. How can we see the matter, the content, the truth, when we put our own interpretation into it? Nowhere Srila Prabhupada said in the Bhagavad Gita purport that this is what I think. He said, this is what Krishna said. Bhagavan Uvacha, Shri Bhagavan, Lord Krishna said. So these are the meanings of birds. We can go in great detail in the purport actually. Bhava, birth, should be understood to refer as the body. Fear is due to worrying about the future. If we see this shloka, this is so beautiful. This says, fear appears from me, fearlessness appears from me. Later Krishna will say, those when he will explain in chapter 11, he will say very clearly, to whom I want to get scared, I myself will manifest in one of the form as Bhoot, Pret, Pishach. To whom I have to give fearlessness, I am their greatest protector. So Krishna will confirm all this. We all know the story of Jad Bharat. So when some of the dacoits took Jad Bharat and wanted to give the offering to kill Jad Bharat and wanted to give him to Devi Kali. Bhadrakali appeared herself having a sword in her hand, and she killed all the dacoits. So to say for dacoits were worshipper of Bhadrakali, but then she takes the form to protect the devotee, because nobody can supersede the Lord's desire. Material energy cannot supersede the spiritual energy. They have their own zones, but then if it is about the bhakta, the spiritual energy supersedes the material energy. So Krishna says, fear is born out of me, fearlessness is born out of me. It depends what we want to choose, which side we want to be. So this all has been explained by Krishna, mentioned by Krishna and explained by Srila Prabhupada. Austerity, charity, fame, infamy. So he is fame, and the infamy also comes out of him. Anger also comes out of him. That's why it is said that anger also in the mode of goodness means okay, it is good, right? In that way, anger is under our control. We are not under the control of anger. So after he says all this in 6 times 7, he concludes it. What does Krishna say here? He says, Maharshaya sapta purve chatvaro manvastatha madbhava manasa jata yesham loka ima praja. He's seeing the 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. He doesn't stop here. So all this he's making us to understand and be assured of, do not possess any doubt. Why? Because he's saying, etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvata so avikalpena yogena yujyate natra sanshaya. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotion and service. Of this, there is no doubt. This is the conclusion Krishna is trying to give us. He's saying, once you believe it, right? She is my mother. He is my father. After that, we do not worry, right? If the similar age group ladies appear and say, no, we are your mother. No, we are your father. The person won't, if the faith is fixed, the person doesn't get confused. So similarly, whatsoever material opulence appears, if we know that, no, all these are originating from Krishna, then we are not delusioned. we are undelusioned, right? We do not have any doubt. All these mystic powers and opulence does not uh, deter our unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. So, what is takeaway point for us? Takeaway point is very significant. It actually concludes. Acharyas give very beautiful, wonderful interpretation about it. What the interpretation is, people many a times ask, is there one supreme God? Then why there are so many religions? If you think about it, the utmost uh, replication of the word dharma is religion. But religion is not dharma actually. In Hindi, in Sanskrit, when we study the dharma, it is one. The nature of sugar or sweet or salt is always that taste which it has. Be it in India, be it in Singapore, be it US, be it a village, be it a state, be it anything, any place. The sugar cane is always sweet. That is the nature. So the nature of human being is always to serve, and to acquire that path, we may reach from India to USA, India to South Africa, India to Australia. There are various routes. It depends on us which path we want to choose. So the great personalities who appear, none of them claimed actually that we are God. Only Krishna in this book, and acharyas and rishis, maharshis, Ved Vyas, in various books are confirming that Krishna is God. Other than him, any great personalities who are really great actually, they never claimed it to be the God. We are not talking about the fake personalities here. So none claim to be God. Acharyas conclude. Who didn't claim? Guru Nanak did not claim he is God. He is regarded as the great spiritual teacher. Moses said that I am messenger of God. Muhammad said I am the prophet. Mahavir Jain actually gave us the way to achieve our real identity of liberated and perfected soul. Buddha taught us meditation and renunciation, all this ahimsa, paramo dharma, this. So that teaching of meditation and renunciation was through Buddha. Jesus said, I am the son of the God. So if you see, people actually, due to their own temperament, defect, try to make something superior, something inferior. So if these are great personalities, it means they are Lord. Even for cine stars, even for politicians, even for sports person, those who are great in their fields, their followers kind of build the temple, because temple represents, they don't make the mosque and all those things, right? They don't make the church, but they are very free to make temples for the great politician, for the great sports person. Why do they that? They do it because the concept of temple is to means to worship someone who is greatest of the all. And then they think, oh, this person, that person, he claims to be the god because he is very great in the sports. It is actually a very foolish idea. Think about it. The one who is going to die, the one who is getting gray. Krishna died. Krishna, people say he left the body, right? Rama left the body, but we never see a old aged Krishna. We never see aged Rama, right? Because Krishna is dine dine navam navam namami nanda sambhavam. Acharya says he is ever youth. He has ever youth the state. He never has beard, no, nor mustache and all those kind of things. He behaves in the humanly body to teach us that how to behave as a human. It is his causeless mercy which he has explained in chapter 4. I mean, with his glance, the Brahmandas, the universes appear and disappear. So does he really need to descend and kill the enemy? That can happen through his glance. But he comes to reciprocate, to teach us. Mercifully, he bestows us that understanding that how should we behave as a human. And then we say, oh, there are many gods. This is so false claim, right? So Krishna is claiming there is, and then not only Krishna, actually our acharyas, the Ved Vyas, who has written all the Vedas, his father Parashar Rishi, I have explained that in chapter 2 also. He explains that Bhagavan, Bhag means the one who has those Aishwaryas, those opulences, and Van means the one who can manage it, the one who can carry it. So Bhagwan is who is having those 6 opulences. In this material world, we can just take the example and go through these opulences, and we will be very assured that none other than Krishna can actually handle it. So let's take the first opulence, which is called wealth. First opulence of God is wealth. So in this material world, we can call someone billionaire, right? But nobody we call is the Lakshmi Pati. Nobody we call is the God, the husband of goddess of fortune, right? We cannot claim, in fact, no one can claim. The greatest millionaire, billionaire, or trillionaire, whoever we can think of, is actually worshipping Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is worshipping the Lord. So first wealth is first opulence is the wealth, and it is our in the Narayana form. He's saying he is the Lakshmi Narayan, right? Lakshmi is serving. She is doing the Pada Sevanam for Lord. The second opulence is about strength. So who can be more superior to Lord? He picked up this Govardhan hill, right? The When we do the circumambulation of Govardhan hill, it takes us because it takes us close to 7 to 8 hours to say, for if we just walk with a steady walk, it is in miles, and that thing Krishna picked up. So we hear all kind of superhumanly man, Batman and Spider-Man and all these kind of men. So one of our acharyas said that any super hero who can be near to all these kind of claims, right, is actually Hanuman. So not Spider-Man, not Batman, not any other man I can remember right now actually. But who is that? Somewhat closer is Hanuman, because he could pick that hill which had the Sanjeevani Buti. So Hanuman is somewhat closer because he is the devotee of the Lord. He worshipped the Lord all the time. So other than him, nobody can claim to be actually Superman, right? It's not superhero, only Hanuman. But even that Hanuman is worshipping whom? Lord Rama. That Lord Rama in his Krishna form picks up the Govardhan hill. So this is actually the ultimate showcase of the strength. Then the third is the fame. So Krishna is such a great famous personality that in this material world nobody sings the glory of a thief. Krishna is the biggest thief, right? He takes away all our ignorance. That's why it is called Chaurashtakam. There is a song of 8 beautiful lyrics are there actually for Chaurashtakam. So Krishna is such a thief that his glory is spread even when he is a thief. Nobody sings the glory of a thief, but he is the supreme in terms of even not good fame, but to say for the any kind of fame, it is attached to the Krishna's pastime. Then we talk about beauty. Beauty, we all can experience it when we decorate our Laddu Gopal, when we see the nice darshan in any of the ISKCON center or the Swayambhu Roops Vigrah of the Lord, we feel so obsessed with it. So that beauty cannot be compared, right? How long we can keep someone's picture when the person whoever is the most beautiful in this material world, if we see their young age, then old age, then dying, when the person is dying, that situation, that time of photo, we will kind of start developing a kind of detachment from that beauty, right? But Krishna's beauty is eternal. He has been like that since ever, and he will remain like that since ever. Anything most beautiful when we see in this material world, Srila Prabhupada said, think about Krishna, the one who created it. So nobody can supersede Krishna in terms of the beauty. The fifth opulence is the knowledge. If we talk about the knowledge, think deeply. This entire Bhagavad Gita, which has everything to think upon and live in this material world successfully, whether in the spiritual gain, on the material gain, social gain, any kind of gain, nobody can supersede the knowledge of no book, other book can supersede the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And in that sequence, we can say the same is for the Srimad Bhagavatam, same is for all kind of books which Acharyas has written in the disciplic succession, meaning to say the knowledge comes from Krishna and he is the source of all the knowledge. So the fifth opulence, which is knowledge, is also the most abundant quality is in Krishna. And sixth opulence of the God is the renunciation. So after gaining the fraction of any kind of these opulence in this material body, if we say we have renounced something, what in the end we can renounce, right? The only thing we can renounce is to give ourselves to Krishna, and that Krishna is the utmost personified form of the renunciation, being with 16,000 plus gopis, the queens, anywhere, whether it's in the Vrindavan or in the Dwarka. Narad Muni affirms the fact that Krishna was never attached with sense gratification. To that extent, he was a yogi. To that extent, he has renounced the sense gratification. And not only that, after the entire Mahabharata, when Queen Gandhari cursed Lord Krishna, saying that the way you have destroyed my uh, sons, the Yaduvans will also get destroyed over the time, like that. And Krishna smiles there. Bharat confirms it. Krishna just smiles. Whatever the situation is, Krishna always smiles. It is not easy to smile all the time. And Krishna is the embodiment of renunciation. Acharyas confirmed it. So if we talk about these opulences, actually nobody can supersede any of the opulence which Krishna possesses, because he is the source of all these opulences. There are so many claimed versions um, from Shastras. In Brahma Samhita 5.29, Chintamani prakar sadyashu kalpa vriksha lakshavriteshu surabhira vipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra sambhrama sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahma Samhita 5.29, Brahma is singing the glory of Lord, and he's saying not one Lakshmi. Lakshmi sahasra sat sambhrama sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. 5.29 Brahma Samhita, it is said that millions, if we see the entire translation, we can see, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always kalpavriksha, millions of kalpavriksha, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. So if we see the Narayana form, it is Lakshmi. If it is Krishna form, it is Gopis. So who can compare his opulence? Not only that, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita itself, when we went through the chapter 5, in 29th shloka, there Krishna is saying, Bhokta Ram Yagya Tapsama Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhidam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mamsa Shanti Vrikshati. What happens? Krishna confirms here, I am the Lord of all planets and demigods. I am the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. I am actually the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities. Who can claim it other than the Lord Krishna himself? In Vishnu Puran 6.5.47, Bhagwan's 6 opulences are being described here. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasha shriya jnana vairagyashchaiva shannam bhaga iti gana. What is being said? It is said Bhagwan is thus defined as one who is full in 6 opulences, the one we just discussed, has full wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. In Brahma Samhita beginning itself, Brahma is saying about Lord 5.1, Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the prime cause of all causes. So it's not like it is one time being said, or it is not like someone's mental concoction that okay, this two-handed personality Krishna who is standing with Arjuna, and just because he's the friend, Arjuna is saying no, yes, you are the Lord. No, it's not like that. All the scriptures are confirming it. That's our takeaway. So with that, Krishna confirms, and Krishna says further in shloka 8, 9, 10, 11, which we said is the Chatushlokiya Gita, Krishna says, Krishna confirms what is our relation with the Lord. Krishna, that is confirmed in shloka 8. Then in 9th shloka, Krishna will confirm that what activities one should do to remember that relation. So in 8th, the relation is specified. In shloka 9, what should we act all the time to have the remembrance of that relationship. And when we follow 8 and 9, then in 10 and 11, Krishna says, this is how I reciprocate with my devotees. This is how devotees and the Lord reciprocate. So once we know remember our relation, then we act in that relation. Then what happens is we always get reciprocation from the Lord in that relationship by remembering to do all those activities. So these 4 shlokas, as I said earlier as well, should be remembered by everyone at all the time. If possible, we should recite it daily once in 24 hours minimum to keep reviving our memory. What does it say? Aham sarvasva prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam budavava samanvita machida madgat prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. In 8, Krishna is saying, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. In Shloka 9, Krishna claims, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So there in Shloka 9, Krishna explains the action of the devotees. They, after knowing me, after knowing my relation with them, the devotees doesn't stop there. First of all, the devotees keep dwelling all their actions. How? First of all, they do services devoted to me. So all karmas they do devoted to me. Second, they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another. So when two devotees meet, they always talk about Krishna. This is the quality of devotee actually. Our acharyas, our mentors, they always keep warning us, reminding us that when we talk, if our talk is centered around Krishna, then it is always a Shastra Charcha. It is always called the discussion about scriptures. Otherwise, only when two people talk about Krishna, it is called Katha. This is a very famous formula, right? When two devotees talk about Krishna, only then it is Katha. Otherwise, it is Vyatha. So it is a bliss only when we talk about Lord, otherwise it is a misery if we talk about anything else about this material world, because this material world is governed by Devi Durga, and the components of this material world is Ashashvatam Dukhalayam 7.7, where we say Ashashvatam Dukhalayam, and Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, death, birth, old age, disease. This is the only thing we will be talking about if we are not talking about Krishna. So Krishna says, my devotees, how do they act? They, when they meet one another, they keep enlightening about my glories. And then when these two things happens, in Shloka 10 and 11, Krishna says, Tesham satata yukta nam bhajitam priti purvakam dadami buddhir yogam tam yena mamupayanti te tesham एवानुकंपार्थम अहम ज्ञान अज्ञानजं तमः नाशम्यात्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, and I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So when devotees keep doing that, Krishna confirms what happens. I appear in their heart. I give them the understanding. With this understanding, what happens? To show them special mercy, I dwell in their heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So if we remember, when we were talking about intelligence and the knowledge, so knowledge is about to know the difference between the matter and spirit, and intelligence is all about being able to discriminate, to distinguish. So Krishna says, I show them this special mercy. If we see the exact translation, it says, I show them the mercy with through which the ignorance in their heart is killed, and the shiny lamp of knowledge is lighted there. So this is how Shloka 8 to 11 is concluded. We should just have a quick glance on these four shloka. As I said, verse 1 is about Sambandha Gyan, Krishna's opulence. What is it about Krishna, our relationship, Sambandha? The second shloka of the Chatushloki Gita, which is shloka 10.9, is about the activities of one who knows these opulences. So abhidheya, activities. We sing the glories, we discuss about the glories, we dwell upon the pastimes. And then 10 and 11 is about the prayojana. So sambandh, abhidheya and prayojan is reflected here. These three are called the main components of any knowledge we acquire. We should be able to, for whom, for how, and then what is the outcome. So prayojana is the perfection. Krishna reciprocates. He says in 10 and 11, I give them the guidance of how they can return back to me. He personally dispels any ignorance that may be in their hearts with the lamp of knowledge. After knowing this, after 1 to 7, Krishna tells about his continued his glories from chapter 8, and then 8 to 11, he clarifies this Sambandh, Abhidhe, and Prayojan. What happens? What happens? Arjuna is assured. So Shlokha 12 to 16 is like our position. We are assured of you now. Nobody can make me confuse who is my mother, who is my father. I am fully convinced. What Arjuna says here? Arjuna is saying in Shloka 12. Arjuna uvacha param brahma param dhama pavitram paramam bhuvan purusham shashvatam divyam adidevam ajam vibhum आहोस्त्वां ऋषयः सर्वे देवर्षि नारद तथा असितो देवलो व्यास स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे सर्वमेतद्ऋतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवन् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवा न दानव. So Arjuna said, you are the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyas confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, oh Lord, can understand your personality. So this is exactly how we study throughout the semester. We study throughout our year preparation for the exam. But in the exam or in some quiz, we just forget the first word. That's in my mind, but I just can't remember that first letter. Can somebody say that first letter to me? So this is how the how the Arjuna's knowledge is, how our knowledge is. We have forgotten that relationship, and this constant hearing of the knowledge, what does it do? It gives us that remembrance. It just revives that relationship. So Arjuna is confirming to Krishna, yes, my knowledge is now revised. My knowledge is now revised. Thank you, Krishna. So he's saying, I accept you now. I completely accept you, Krishna. So this is how 12 to 16, 17 are. Just 1 second. This is how Arjuna will accept that Krishna, you are that ultimate source, but it is not easy to know you. Only by your mercy I can understand you. So he's saying in Shloka 15, 16, 17, 18, and then he will say, I just want to take a glance. Can you just explain to me where do you reside, in what form? What he's saying in Shloka 14, Swayam etadritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidurdevana danava. Vidurdevana danava. He confirms here that yes, you are right. Vaktum arhasya seshena divyayatma vibhuteya yabhir vibhuti bhilokan nimanstavam vyapya tishtasi. So, O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the more. So this is Arjuna's affirmation. This should be our affirmation as well, that if I want to know about something, I will know from the source, right? I will just go to the source. Krishna, I want to know about you from you. And then Krishna will continue. So this is where Krishna will tell, okay, it's not possible to know everything about me. I cannot say, because even the Vedas, even the Acharyas, even the Vedas, all the Vedas conclude, Neti, we cannot know Krishna beyond a limit. It is by Krishna's mercy only that one can know about him perfectly, absolutely. So that's why Krishna says here, and it is said not Krishna says. Nowhere in Bhagavad Gita it is said Krishna said. Nowhere, in no version of Bhagavad Gita book, we can see that. Just that people, while writing the translation in Hindi, English, or any other language, if they are not following the Bhagavad Gita as it is, they may say, oh, this is what Krishna said. But everywhere it is said, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. What Krishna said in Shloka 19? Hanta te katayishyami divyayatma vibhutaya pradhanyata kuru shrestha nasyanto vistarasya me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. So Krishna told, I will speak, I will tell you, but only few prominent ones. Why? Because it is limitless. My opulence is limitless. The conversation is happening between the two friends. The two friends can have the real friendship when there is no show off. When the speech comes right, heart to heart conversation takes place. So we cannot say Krishna is boasting here, right? We should be very careful. We are the human beings. We come with that propensity of four vikaras, four kind of defects. Our senses are not perfect. We have the cheating propensity. So these are the kind of defects we have. But when Krishna speaks, he speaks to a friend. So that's why when Arjuna wanted to surrender, he said, I replicate your position as a friend to a guru, as a mentor. But Krishna, when he keeps speaking, he keeps addressing Arjuna through different abbreviations, through different adjectives. That exemplifies that he is talking heart to heart. That's why he says, I'm not boasting, but the matter of fact is that my opulences are limitless. But still, for the sake of saying, so that people in general, when they hear with their limited sense, they should not feel confused. They should be able to see my presence in those opulences. So this is what Krishna speaks out from Shloka 20. 20 to 38, 39 basically. So what does he say? In Shloka 20, Krishna says, I am the super soul. I am seated in the heart of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all. Then Krishna says in Shloka 21, of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of Marutas, I am Marichi, controlling deity of wind. So there are 49 types of Marutas. But out of those 49, that is also a very beautiful story actually, how Diti gave birth to Maruta. So they were 7 and each one of them were cut into 7 pieces. So 7 into 7 is the 49. And who cut it? It was Indra at that point of time who cut it. And then he said, oh, these Marutas, although they are born out of Diti's womb, they will be Indra's helper, right? They will help Indras to sustain this material world. So of the Marutas, the Marichi, the first one through which 7 pieces, and then from each pieces 7 into 7, 49 appeared. I am that Marichi. Among the stars, I am moon. So if you see all the stars in the sky, not everybody is as glowing as Chandra, right? As moon, because Chandra and moon also gets that their glowing tendency from Krishna. Of Adityas, who am I? Of Vedas, who am I? Of demigods, who am I? It is Indra. So this is how Krishna continued. He says that of great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, all kind of mantras, I am the transcendental Om. Vibrations, I am Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name, Japa. So any kind of austerity, any kind of sacrifice we do, that's why it is said in Kali Yuga, Hare Namev Kevalam Kalam Nastev 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 Gatiranyatha. Of all kind of sacrifices, all kind of yagyas, who am I? I am the Japa, chanting the holy name. Krishna confirms here in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So when our Acharya says chant the glories of Harinam, it is not overstated. It is actually directly coming through Lord Krishna himself. Of immovable things, I am the Himalaya. Krishna says in Shloka 25. Then in Shloka 26, Krishna says, among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila, the Kapil Dev who took birth out of Devuti's womb. Then Gandharvas, I am Chitraketu. Sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of all the trees, I am the banyan tree. So one of the Acharya was saying very beautifully actually. We know in Chennai, there is a place called Adayar. That Adayar is there because there is that tree which has its root spread in kilometers. It's as vast as Arya. So that's why the place itself is called Arya. People go there and just go there to see that place. So Krishna says that, who am I? Among the trees, I am the banyan tree. I am that tree. banyan tree, who is spread like, for example, we said, right? In chapter 15, we will come to know there is a Ashwatham tree. So the roots and how that tree is spread is through this material world to that material world. Spiritually, that is called the inverted reflection. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of fishes, I am the shark. Of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Among birds, I am Garuna. Among beasts, I am the lion. This is how Krishna is confirming. Among subduers, I am time. Everybody, nobody can be bigger subduer than the time. Time consumes everything. Where is the great Hitler, the great Mussolini, the great Hiranyakashipu? Where are all these great peoples? All the other names, we don't need to shout it loud, but we know all of them just disappeared. Kala, time, subdued all of them. So nobody can be superior. So I am that Kala, who Kala, time, subduers. Among the that demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. So we know Prahlad is a devotee, great devotee of the Lord, but he was born in Datyakula, among the demons. So he confirms, Krishna confirms, among the Datyas, I am Prahlad. So Krishna's form is always so blissful. Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Anantashesh. Thousands and thousands of hoods are there. Anantashesh. His name itself is Anantashesh. Among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of serpents, I am Vasuki. Vasuki among the serpents was so vast that for churning of ocean milk, Samudra Manthan, he was used as that rope for churning of ocean. Then Krishna continues that of departed ancestors I am Aryama, among the dispense of law I am Yama, the law of death. Even nobody, even Brahma says that I cannot supersede what is the jurisdiction of Yama, right? If one has to die, one has to die. If one has acquired the body, he or she will die. So this is how Krishna continues. I am all devouring death. I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among humans, Krishna says that I am the king. So whoever claims to be the king, basically Krishna confirms that king is the representative of the Lord. That's why Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. If a king, if the ruler of the nation is possess austerity, performs sacrifices, finances, the people in general are happier than before, because if the king considers himself the representative of the god, his behavior will be like that. So after that he says, among months I am the Margashish, this November, December which is about to come. Then among seasons I am the flower bearing spring, so it's the spring season. And this is how the entire conversations goes on. Krishna speaks about his of all the sciences and the spiritual science of the self. So through these verses, Krishna tells about 82 opulences. Then in Shloka 38 and 39, he says, there is no being moving or non-moving that can exist without me. I am the generating seed of all the existences. So Krishna confirms to Arjuna, of the wise, I am the wisdom. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. Of those who seek victory, I am morality. So Krishna will confirm to Arjuna that I am saying few of these. If we see the shloka 40 and 41, Krishna is saying, know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So he's saying this is not all. It is just that it is one of it. How? He's saying, Nanto asmimam divyanam vibhutinam parantapa eshatudeshata prokto vibhuter vistaro maya. It is just a spark of my splendor. He continues, Yadyad vibhutimat sattvam Srimadurjitam evacha Tattat evavagashatvam mama tejo ashambhavam. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Krishna says it's a mere reflection of my it's a mere indication of my infinite opulences. So these 82 opulences is so that any next time when we talk about the months, when we talk about the time, when we talk about the seasons, when we talk about the person, when we talk about the glory, valor, strength, when we talk about any kind of moon, sun, wind, we should be able to just quickly realize that, oh, in this form Krishna is like that, in this form Krishna is like that, because Krishna says it is not possible to describe all of it, so the main ones I have described for you. And then this chapter ends with the last shloka, which is atva bahu netena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhya aham idam krishnam ekanshen sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So, Krishna, to say for, in this chapter, conversation ends with his statement of saying, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. And Acharyas finishes this chapter here. But the conversation of Arjuna and Krishna is continued. So in 11th chapter, when we talk about the Virat Roop, this is actually what Krishna just stated here. It is in the continuation of that. He said, with a fragment of myself, right? I can pervade this way. I can pervade all. And that's why Arjuna will pray. I have no doubt, I have accepted. This is what he said here. Now I want to have the glorious darshan of that vision. So what you said as a form, I want to see. That's why in that one body, when Krishna gives him the divine vision, he can see many of the universes getting created and annihilated at the same time in that very body. The entire army which is present on the Kurukshetra appears inside that body. The same Arjuna and Krishna who is speaking about it, that appears in his body. And that makes Arjuna bewildered. He said, I'm getting perplexed. I don't want to see it anymore. So he starts by saying, I want to see it. And then the chapter 11 will finish with, I don't want to see it anymore. So this is how we conclude this chapter today. Actually, Acharya says one very beautiful line. They only say that there is nothing beyond the Krishna. This should be our bottom line, to live the life eternally blissful, to think about that blissful Lord who is eagerly waiting for us to surrender to him. And why that surrender is needed? Because Krishna says, those who surrender to me, I become their servant. So it's not like Krishna is asking us to be a servant. It is the process. Once a person reaches to the Vaikuntha, he attains the same body, same kind of bodily features. He attains that constant remembrance of Krishna. That's why Krishna is insisting us to start journey on this path of Bhakti Yoga by explaining about his opulence. So with that, we will finish today's session. It is concluded by Charyas that यष्टिलेशात् सूर्याद्या भवन्त्यग्र्यते तेजस यद्वंशेन धृतं विश्वं स कृष्णो दशमे अर्चयत्. So this Krishna who has been described by all the acharyas is how mercifully explaining about couple of fraction of his opulences to Arjuna. So we also pray that we can have that vision and remembrance so that we can see Krishna around everything, every environment, every atmosphere, every time, place and circumstance. We should be able to see that vision, to remember Krishna. So with that, we'll end the session today. Please feel free to give your feedback through chat box, comment box, personal messages, and please join us tomorrow for chapter 11. Just to remind everyone, we have the recitation of all those 700 shlokas in one go after 18 chapters are completed, not finished but completed. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev